Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and if you're new here, you're in exactly the right place because today we're diving into a story that proves everyday pocket change can sometimes be worth more than luxury mansions, sports cars, and even private islands. And in this video we're talking about the 1973 no-mint Mark 1 cent USA coin. A penny that looks ordinary at first glance, but under the right conditions and with the right errors can reach an unbelievable value of up to $17 million. And that's not clickbait, it's based on real collector demand, historical context, and some of the rarest minting mistakes ever discovered, so make sure you stay with us till the end because many people have already missed life-changing money simply because they didn't know what to look for, and the 1973 penny is one of the biggest examples of that hidden treasure phenomenon. The 1973 no-mint mark penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use mint marks on cents during that era, meaning millions of these coins were released into circulation. But what makes this year special is not the normal coins, it's the extremely rare error varieties and transitional mistakes that slipped past quality control at a time when the US Mint was under massive pressure. Dealing with aging equipment, rising production demands, and major metal composition concerns due to inflation and copper prices skyrocketing in the early 1970s. Most people don't realize that 1973 sits right in the middle of one of the most chaotic periods in US coin production, where mistakes were far more likely to happen, and that chaos is exactly what created the multi-million-dollar versions of this penny. One of the most valuable and mysterious errors linked to the 1973 no-mint mark cent is the wrong planchet error, where a penny was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another coin or another year, and collectors believe that a small number of 1973 pennies may have been struck on leftover bronze planchets intended for earlier experimental runs or foreign contracts, creating coins with unusual weight, thickness, and metallic composition. And when such a coin is authenticated by a top grading service, its value can explode into the millions because it represents a mistake that should never have happened. Another jaw-dropping error possibility is the double die obverse, where the design elements like the date, Lincoln's profile, and inscriptions such as Liberty and In God We Trust appear double due to a misalignment during the die creation process, and strong, dramatic doubling that is clearly visible to the naked eye can turn a simple 1-cent coin into a collector's dream worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions if the doubling is bold, clean, and confirmed as a true double die rather than machine doubling. Then there's the off-metal strike error, one of the most exciting possibilities for 1973 pennies, where a coin is struck on a metal that was never intended for cents, such as aluminum, brass with incorrect alloy ratios, or even experimental compositions that were being tested quietly behind the scenes. And if a genuine 1973 penny struck on an off-metal planchet were to surface today, especially in mint-state condition, it could easily reach or surpass the $17 million mark because it would be a unique artifact of US mint history. Another critical factor that drives the value of certain 1973 no-mint mark pennies into the stratosphere is the presence of major strike errors like broad strikes, off-center strikes exceeding 50%, or multiple strike errors where the coin was struck more than once with visible overlapping designs, rotated dies, or misaligned impressions. And while many minor strike errors are collectible, extreme examples from this year are exceptionally rare and fiercely competed for at elite auctions, where wealthy collectors are willing to pay almost any price to secure a one-of-a-kind piece. The condition of the coin also plays a massive role, because a high-grade uncirculated or mint-state 1973 penny with a rare error can be exponentially more valuable than the same error on a worn coin, and coins graded MS-67, MS-68, or higher by professional grading services can shatter price records simply due to their flawless surfaces, sharp details, and original luster that somehow survived decades without damage. Another overlooked but incredibly important aspect is the possibility of a mule error, where the obverse and reverse dies from two different coin designs or years are mistakenly paired together, and although mule errors are extremely rare, the few that exist are among the most valuable coins on Earth, and numismatic experts continue to search for undocumented mule errors involving 1973 cents, knowing that a discovery like that would instantly rewrite coin collecting history. There's also the matter of die cracks, die breaks, and retained cut errors, where the die used to strike the coin begins to fracture or break apart, leaving raised lines, missing sections, or dramatic distortions on the coin's surface. And while small die cracks are common, massive retained cut errors on a 1973 penny can command extraordinary prices because they represent the final stages of a dying die being pushed beyond its limits. What truly elevates the 1973 no-mint mark penny into legendary status is the mystery surrounding undocumented errors, because collectors and researchers believe that not all mistakes from that era have been discovered yet, meaning there could still be unknown varieties sitting unnoticed in old jars, inherited collections, or forgotten bank rolls. And every year new discoveries prove that the book on U.S. coin errors is far from closed. Historical timing also plays a huge role in the coin's potential value, because the early 1970s were marked by economic instability, metal shortages, and rapid changes in minting practices, and coins from transitional periods are always highly prized because they capture moments when systems were strained and errors were more likely to occur. Demand is another powerful force, as modern collectors, investors, and even non-collectors are becoming fascinated with era coins due to viral stories of ordinary people finding life-changing treasures, and this growing interest pushes prices higher and higher, especially for coins with dramatic stories and extreme rarity. Auction history shows that when a truly unique era coin appears, bidding wars can erupt, driving final prices far beyond initial estimates, and a confirmed, visually stunning 1973 no-mint mark penny with a never-before-seen error could realistically reach the $17 million level simply because of its uniqueness and the prestige of owning something no one else in the world has. This is why experts always advise checking your change carefully, weighing suspicious coins, examining them under magnification, and never cleaning them, because cleaning can destroy value instantly, and if you believe you've found something unusual, professional authentication is essential before making any decisions. The idea that a small copper coin could be worth more than gold bars still sounds unbelievable to many people, but history has shown time and time again that rarity, demand, condition, and story can transform the most humble object into a priceless artifact, and the 1973 no-mint mark 1-cent USA coin stands as one of the most exciting examples of that reality. So the next time you see an old penny, remember that it might not just be spare change, it could be a forgotten masterpiece of minting history waiting to change someone's life forever. And that's exactly why stories like the 1973 penny continue to captivate collectors around the world and keep the dream alive that hidden treasure is still out there, right in our hands. Next, 1961 mint mark D 1-cent USA coin, a penny that most people would ignore without a second thought, yet under rare conditions and extraordinary circumstances can be worth as much as $26 million, making it one of the most valuable modern-era pennies ever discussed among elite collectors, serious investors, and numismatic historians. And as always, make sure you stay with us till the very end because the smallest detail you learn today could be the difference between spending a penny and discovering a fortune. The 1961 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a period of intense pressure on the United States Mint. As America's economy was expanding rapidly, coin demand was exploding, and mint facilities were being pushed to their limits, often running aging machinery around the clock, which created the perfect environment for rare and dramatic minting errors to occur. And while hundreds of millions of 1961 D pennies were produced, only a microscopic fraction of them contain the kinds of mistakes that can transform a simple copper coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. At first glance, the 1961 D cent appears completely ordinary, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but it is precisely this ordinary appearance that allowed some of the most valuable era coins to escape into circulation unnoticed, where they could sit for decades in collections, jars, drawers, or bank rolls before anyone realized their true significance. One of the most powerful drivers behind the staggering $26 million valuation is the possibility of a rare transitional or wrong planchet error, because during the early 1960s the U.S. Mint was experimenting with metal compositions, alloy adjustments, and planchet sourcing due to rising copper costs. And it is believed by some experts that a tiny number of 1961 D cents may have been struck on experimental or unintended planchets, including off-metal blanks or improperly mixed copper alloys, creating coins with abnormal weight, density, and metallic signatures. And when such a coin is professionally authenticated and proven genuine, its value skyrockets because it represents a minting event that officially should not exist. Even more exciting is the long-debated possibility of a 1961 D penny struck on a foreign or leftover planchet, something that has happened in other years and denominations, where planchets intended for foreign governments or other U.S. coins were accidentally fed into cent presses, producing coins that defy official mint records. And the discovery of such a specimen in high grade could easily justify a valuation approaching $26 million due to its uniqueness and historical mystery. Another major factor that can elevate a 1961 D penny into legendary status is the presence of a true double die obverse or reverse, a highly prized error that occurs during the die creation process when the hub impresses the design onto the die more than once at slightly different angles, resulting in dramatic, clearly visible doubling on elements such as the date, Lincoln's profile, the mint mark D, or inscriptions like Liberty and I in God We Trust, and unlike machine doubling, which adds little value, a strong, well-defined doubled die can turn a 1-cent coin into a centerpiece of any elite collection. Collectors pay astronomical prices for doubled die cents because they are visually striking, historically significant, and extremely rare, and if a bold, undisputed 1961 D doubled die were discovered with exceptional eye appeal and mint state preservation, it could trigger intense bidding wars among top collectors and institutions, pushing its value into the multi-million-dollar range. Another extraordinary error possibility associated with the 1961 D penny is the repunched mint mark, where the D mint mark was punched into the die more than once at different positions, creating overlapping or distorted mint mark shapes. And while minor repunched mint marks are known and collected, extreme and dramatic examples from certain years are exceedingly rare. And when combined with high grade and strong visual impact, they can command astonishing premiums. The Denver Mint in 1961 was also known for producing coins with striking anomalies due to die wear and improper alignment, leading to spectacular off-center strikes, broad strikes, and multi-strike errors, where the coin is struck more than once with shifting positions, rotated dies, or overlapping impressions, creating a chaotic and visually mesmerizing result. And extreme examples of these errors are often unique, or one of only a handful known, making them incredibly valuable to collectors who seek one-of-a-kind pieces. Off-center strikes exceeding 50%, especially when the date and mint mark remain visible, are among the most desirable error coins in the hobby. And a dramatic 1961 D off-center strike in pristine condition could command life-changing money on its own, while a combination of errors on a single coin could push its value to unprecedented levels. Another category of errors that plays a role in the $26 million valuation discussion is major die breaks, retained cuds, and shattered dies, where the die used to strike the coin begins to crack or break apart, leaving raised metal blobs, missing sections of design, or distorted shapes that clearly show the mint pushing damaged equipment beyond safe limits. And while minor die cracks are common, massive retained cut errors that affect large portions of the coin are extremely rare and highly prized. The condition of the coin is absolutely critical in determining its ultimate value, because a rare error on a heavily worn coin will always be worth less than the same error on a sharply struck, uncirculated example with original mint luster, and coins graded MS67, MS68, or even higher by top third-party grading services are extraordinarily rare for early 1960s cents, making them fiercely competitive at auction. A flawless 1961 D penny with a major error and near-perfect preservation would represent the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical importance, justifying an astronomical valuation. Another factor that fuels the excitement around the 1961 D penny is the ongoing belief among experts that not all major errors from this year have been discovered, because many collectors in the past lack today's advanced knowledge, tools, and grading standards, meaning that coins once dismissed as odd or damaged may actually be undiscovered mint errors hiding in plain sight. This sense of mystery keeps demand high and motivates collectors to continue searching rolls, collections, and estates in hopes of uncovering a previously unknown variety that could rewrite numismatic history. The historical context of 1961 also adds to the coin's appeal, as it was a time of optimism, technological advancement, and rapid change in the United States, and coins from such periods often carry emotional and cultural significance that enhances their desirability beyond their physical characteristics. Modern media and viral success stories have also played a role in driving demand, as more people become aware that valuable coins are not limited to ancient gold or silver, but can include everyday cents that pass through countless hands unnoticed. When a truly unique or visually stunning era coin appears at auction, wealthy collectors, museums, and investors often compete aggressively, pushing prices far beyond initial estimates, and a confirmed extraordinary 1961 penny with a never-before-seen error could realistically reach or exceed the $26 million mark simply because of its singular nature and the prestige associated with owning such a piece. This is why experts constantly emphasize the importance of careful examination, proper storage, and professional authentication, because cleaning, polishing, or mishandling a coin can permanently destroy its value, while proper certification can unlock its true potential. The idea that a small copper coin could rival the value of priceless art or rare gemstones may sound unbelievable, but numismatic history is filled with examples where rarity, story, and demand converge to create astonishing results. The 1961 mint-marked 1-cent USA coin stands as a powerful reminder that hidden treasures can still exist in the most ordinary places, and that knowledge is the key that transforms spare change into serious wealth. So the next time you come across an old penny, remember that it may carry more than just face value. It may carry a story of minting chaos, historical change, and untold rarity, waiting patiently for someone to recognize its importance. And that is exactly why the legend of the 1961 penny continues to inspire collectors around the world, and keeps the dream alive that the next life-changing discovery could be just one coin away. Next, 1978 no mint mark 1-cent USA coin, a penny that most people have spent without a second thought, yet under rare conditions and extraordinary minting circumstances can reach a staggering value of up to $15 million, making it one of the most fascinating modern-era Lincoln cents ever discussed in the numismatic world. And as always, I strongly encourage you to watch and listen carefully until the very end, because the smallest detail you learn today could mean the difference between losing a fortune and discovering one. The 1978 no mint mark penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a time when the U.S. Mint was facing intense production demands, aging equipment, and increasing pressure to keep up with circulation needs, all while dealing with rising metal costs and evolving quality control standards. And history shows us that when systems are pushed to their limits, mistakes happen. And those mistakes are exactly what create legendary coins. At first glance, the 1978 no mint mark cent looks completely normal, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, struck in the standard copper alloy composition used before the major changes of the early 1980s. But hidden within this massive production year are extremely rare era coins, transitional anomalies, and undocumented mistakes that have turned a few surviving examples into holy grails for elite collectors. One of the most powerful reasons the 1978 no mint mark penny can reach a $15 million valuation is the possibility of an off-metal or wrong planchet error, where a penny was struck on a planchet never intended for 1-cent coins, and during the late 1970s the U.S. Mint was experimenting with alternative metals and alloy compositions due to increasing copper prices, which created opportunities for planchets of incorrect composition to accidentally enter cent presses, resulting in coins with unusual weight, thickness, color, and magnetic properties. And when such a coin is authenticated and confirmed by a top-tier grading service, it becomes an irreplaceable artifact of U.S. Mint history. Some collectors and researchers believe that a tiny number of 1978 pennies may have been struck on experimental or transitional planchets related to future compositional changes, and because official documentation of these experiments is limited, the discovery of such a coin today would send shockwaves through the numismatic community, and instantly justify a multi-million-dollar valuation due to its uniqueness and historical significance. Another critical factor behind the extraordinary value of certain 1978 no-mint mark pennies is the presence of a true double die obverse or reverse, one of the most desirable and visually dramatic mint errors in coin collecting, created when the die receives multiple impressions from the hub at slightly different angles, causing clear and distinct doubling on design elements such as the date, Lincoln's profile, Liberty, and In God We Trust, and unlike minor machine doubling, a strong doubled die can be seen clearly without magnification and is fiercely pursued by collectors willing to pay enormous premiums. A bold, undisputed double die 1978 penny in high mint state condition would represent a perfect storm of rarity, eye appeal, and demand, making it a serious contender for 7-figure or even 8-figure auction results, especially if it displays crisp surfaces and original luster. Another category of errors that can elevate a 1978 no-mint mark cent into legendary territory is extreme strike errors, including off-center strikes exceeding 50%, broad strikes where the coin expands beyond its normal diameter, and multiple strike errors where the coin is struck more than once with shifting positions, rotated dies, or overlapping designs, creating chaotic and visually stunning results that are often unique or one of only a few known examples. These dramatic errors are highly sought after because they vividly illustrate how coins are made and how things can go wrong, and when combined with a popular Lincoln cent design and a large collector base, prices can skyrocket at auction. Die break errors also play a major role in the valuation discussion, especially retained cut errors and shattered dies, where large portions of the die crack or break away, leaving raised blobs of metal, missing design elements, or distorted shapes that clearly show the mint pushing damaged equipment beyond safe limits, and while small die cracks are relatively common, massive retained cuts affecting large areas of the coin are extremely rare and highly collectible. Another fascinating possibility tied to the 1978 penny is the chance of a mule error, where mismatched obverse and reverse dies from different years or designs are accidentally paired together, and although mule errors are among the rarest mistakes in all of numismatics, the few confirmed examples from other denominations have sold for astonishing sums, leading experts to believe that undiscovered mule errors involving late 1970s cents could still be out there waiting to be found. The condition of the coin is absolutely critical in determining its ultimate value, because even the rarest error will lose much of its potential if the coin is heavily worn, damaged, or cleaned, while a pristine uncirculated example with sharp details, smooth surfaces, and original mint luster can multiply its value many times over, especially when graded MS67, MS68, or higher by respected third-party grading services. High-grade Lincoln cents from the 1970s are surprisingly difficult to find due to mass circulation and handling, making any top-grade era coin from 1978 an immediate standout in elite collections. Another reason the 1978 no-mint mark penny has captured so much attention is the belief among seasoned collectors that not all major errors from this year have been discovered yet, because decades ago many people lacked the knowledge or tools to properly identify rare mint errors, meaning coins with extraordinary characteristics may have been dismissed as damaged or unusual and set aside without further investigation. As new generations of collectors re-examine old collections, estates, and bank rolls, previously unknown varieties continue to surface, proving that the hunt for rare coins is far from over. The historical context of the late 1970s also adds depth to the coin story, as it was a period marked by economic uncertainty, inflation, and major shifts in industrial practices, and coins from transitional eras are always highly prized because they represent moments of change when mistakes are more likely to occur. Modern media, online auctions, and viral success stories have further fueled interest in valuable pennies, bringing new collectors and investors into the hobby and driving demand higher for coins with compelling stories and extreme rarity. When a truly unique or visually striking era coin appears at auction, bidding wars often erupt between wealthy collectors, institutions, and investors, pushing final prices far beyond initial estimates, and a confirmed One-of-a-kind 1978 no-mint mark penny with an undocumented error could realistically approach or reach the $15 million level simply because of its singular nature and the prestige of owning something no one else in the world has. This is why experts consistently advise collectors to carefully examine their coins, weigh suspicious examples, use magnification to inspect details, and most importantly, never clean a coin, because cleaning can permanently destroy value, while professional authentication can unlock a coin's true worth. The idea that a small copper penny could be worth more than luxury homes or rare works of art may sound unbelievable, but numismatic history is filled with examples where rarity, demand, condition, and story combine to create astonishing results, and the 1978 no-mint mark 1 cent USA coin stands as one of the most exciting reminders that hidden treasures can still exist in everyday places. So the next time you come across an old penny, remember that it might not just be spare change, it could be a forgotten piece of minting history waiting to change someone's life forever. And that is exactly why the legend of the 1978 penny continues to grow, inspiring collectors around the world and keeping alive the dream that the next multi-million-dollar discovery could be sitting quietly in a jar, a drawer, or even your own pocket right now. Now, we are combining the unbelievable stories of 3 Lincoln cents that most people have held, spent, or ignored without ever realizing their mind-blowing potential: the 1961 mint mark D 1 cent USA coin, the 1973 no-mint mark 1 cent USA coin, and the 1978 no-mint mark 1 cent USA coin. 3 pennies that together represent one of the most fascinating chapters in modern U.S. coin history and, under the rarest circumstances, can collectively reach values exceeding tens of millions of dollars, with individual coins rumored and debated among experts to be worth as much as $26 million, $17 million, and $15 million respectively, proving once again that life-changing wealth does not always come wrapped in gold or silver, but sometimes hides quietly in copper. These 3 coins come from different moments in American minting history, yet they share one powerful connection: they were all produced during periods of intense pressure, transition, and strain at the United States Mint, moments when aging machinery, rising production demands, metal cost concerns, and evolving quality control systems created the perfect environment for rare and dramatic minting mistakes to slip through unnoticed and enter circulation. The 1961 D penny, struck at the Denver Mint, represents the early 1960s, a time of economic expansion and massive coin demand, when mint facilities were operating at near maximum capacity, often running equipment beyond ideal limits, which increased the likelihood of errors such as wrong planchet strikes, repunched mint marks, doubled dies, off-center strikes, and major die breaks, all of which are now among the most sought-after errors in numismatics. The Denver Mint in particular was known for producing coins with striking anomalies during this era, and while hundreds of millions of 1961 D cents were made, only an incredibly small number exhibit the types of extraordinary errors that could justify a valuation approaching $26 million, especially if such a coin were discovered in pristine, high mint state condition and authenticated by a top grading service. Collectors believe that the most valuable 1961 D cents would likely involve a combination of factors rather than a single flaw, such as a wrong metal planchet combined with a dramatic doubled die or an extreme off-center strike, because coins that display multiple major errors are exponentially rarer and far more valuable than those with just one issue. Moving forward into the early 1970s, the 1973 no-mint mark penny takes center stage as a symbol of minting chaos and mystery, produced at the Philadelphia Mint during one of the most turbulent periods in U.S. coinage history, when inflation, copper shortages, and rising metal prices forced the mint to experiment quietly with alternative alloys, planchet sourcing, and production techniques, creating opportunities for mistakes that were never meant to leave the facility. The absence of a mint mark on the 1973 penny indicates its Philadelphia origin, but what truly sets certain examples apart is the possibility of off-metal strikes, wrong planchet errors, dramatic doubled dies, mule errors, and extreme strike anomalies that defy official records. And it is precisely this lack of complete documentation that fuels speculation and excitement among collectors who believe that undiscovered varieties from this year still exist. A genuine 1973 penny struck on an experimental or unintended planchet, especially if proven to be unique, would represent a historic anomaly so significant that a $17 million valuation becomes plausible in the eyes of elite collectors who compete fiercely for one-of-a-kind artifacts. The 1973 penny is also prized for its potential double-die varieties, where clear, bold doubling on the date, inscriptions, or Lincoln's portrait can transform an ordinary cent into a numismatic masterpiece, and when such doubling is paired with exceptional eye appeal and near-perfect preservation, bidding wars can escalate rapidly at auction. Then comes the 1978 no-mint mark penny, another Philadelphia issue that on the surface appears completely ordinary, yet was struck during a time when the mint was once again under intense strain, dealing with outdated equipment, high production quotas, and growing concerns about the future of copper in coinage, concerns that would soon lead to major compositional changes in the early 1980s. The late 1970s were marked by experimentation, uncertainty, and transition, and history shows that coins produced during such periods are often fertile ground for rare errors, including off-metal strikes, transitional planchet mistakes, doubled dies, extreme off-center strikes, broad strikes, multiple strikes, and massive die breaks, all of which are known to command enormous premiums when discovered and authenticated. The idea that a 1978 penny could be worth up to $15 million may sound unbelievable at first, but when you consider the value placed on unique, undocumented errors combined with high-grade preservation and a strong collector base for Lincoln cents, it becomes clear how such figures enter the conversation. What truly elevates all three of these coins into legendary territory is not just the presence of errors, but the combination of rarity, historical timing, condition, and demand, because numismatic value is driven as much by story and scarcity as it is by metal and design. A wrong planchet error on its own is valuable, but a wrong planchet error from a transitional period, in exceptional condition, with no other known examples, becomes priceless. A double die is exciting, but a bold double die from a year with few known varieties, preserved in near-perfect mint state, becomes the centerpiece of an elite collection. A dramatic off-center or multiple strike error is visually stunning, but when it appears on a popular Lincoln cent from a historically significant year, collectors are willing to pay almost any price to own it. Condition plays a massive role across all three coins, because high-grade examples from the 1960s and 1970s are far rarer than most people realize, as billions of pennies were heavily circulated, stored improperly, or cleaned, leaving very few survivors with flawless surfaces, sharp details, and original mint luster. Coins graded MS67, MS68, or higher are extremely scarce, and when such grades are paired with major errors, values can multiply dramatically, sometimes reaching levels that rival fine art, rare gemstones, or historic manuscripts. Another powerful factor connecting these three coins is the belief among experts that not all significant errors from these years have been discovered, because decades ago many collectors lacked today's advanced knowledge, magnification tools, digital scales, and widespread access to professional authentication services. Meaning that coins with extraordinary characteristics may have been dismissed as damaged or strange and stored away without further investigation. As collections are inherited, estates are liquidated, and old coin jars are revisited, new discoveries continue to emerge, reinforcing the idea that the search for rare pennies is far from over. Demand has also surged in recent years as viral stories, online auctions, and media coverage have introduced millions of new people to the idea that valuable coins can be found in everyday change, driving competition and prices higher for coins with compelling stories and extreme rarity. When a truly unique era coin from 1961, 1973, or 1978 appears at auction, it does not simply attract casual collectors, it draws museums, institutional buyers, and ultra-wealthy individuals who understand that such pieces are not just collectibles, but historical assets with long-term significance. This is why experts consistently stress the importance of careful examination, proper storage, and professional authentication, because cleaning or altering a coin can permanently destroy its value, while certification can unlock its full potential and place it among the great rarities of American coinage. Together, the 1961 D penny, the 1973 no-mint mark penny, and the 1978 no-mint mark penny tell a powerful story about how ordinary objects can become extraordinary when history, error, and rarity collide, reminding us that hidden treasures are not just myths or fairy tales, but real possibilities waiting quietly in drawers, jars, and collections around the world. So the next time you see a simple copper penny, remember that it could carry a story worth millions, a story shaped by minting pressure, human error, and historical change. And that is exactly why these three coins continue to captivate collectors, inspire dreamers, and keep alive the hope that the next life-changing discovery could be just 1 cent away.